go into this draft, take a look. I'm excited to see where this draft ends up taking us. Again, game 3 of a best of 5 is where things start to open up, and I just want to see what they go for. Are we going to see the same picks, the same bands, and everything? So, will we see? Will we see another Medusa?
There you go. LGD take out the Venge straight away. They don't want to play against it. It's this Venge Dusa was too much for them, and I think this Beastmaster has to be. We talked about how it's going to go up in priority. I think both teams are going to be looking at that. And again, Vici, they banned the Nature's Prophet. Like game 1, they're like, okay, well we let them have it. Game 2 and 3, they're like, it did too much. We're just going to take it out. So like you can do all the prep in the world you want, but this is what's so good about the best of 5 that it will change as time goes on. Like especially with the bans in the first phase. So
yeah,
I think both teams are reacting really well. But yeah, we'll see how it ends up because there's some supports I feel like are possibly going to be let through here that we didn't get to see before. So things like the Shaker and the Tusk, I'm looking at the most here. Shaker, Tusk, and Beastmaster are the 3 for me. Obviously, as well as the Oracle Grimstroke, which have already been seen. Because things like the Pango as well, if they don't get banned, I think a potential for LGD as well. Yeah, I think Shaker, Tusker are big heroes here for both teams.
Ooh. So there goes the Earthshaker. If there's no Venge, is there a Medusa?
Probably not.
Okay.
I think the Venge Dusa combo is just so good together, right? Because you get the attack range on the Dusa, you get the primary attribute. It just feels really good. Like you can still pick Dusa, it's not an awful hero, but I don't think you can do it before last pick unless it's a really good game for it. Or unless you're like super confident on the hero. It just enables that hero a lot. And they ban out the Mars this time. So we get to see something different from Vici. Eurus is going to be able to play a different hero. Lucky for him.
Oh, and there's that Tusk. I think that's been a first phase ban in both games so far. They don't want to give it up to FY. They would like to have it, so not a bad thing to pick it up. I've really liked Tusk recently. It's been very, very good, I think, at moving around the map, something that FY, one of those heroes that FY really excels with for those reasons.
Yeah, and the question now is, do LGD want to pick this Ember up again? They first phased it in both games so far, I think, and it's still okay. I still don't mind Grimstroke here for Vici, but then you have to worry about the Oracle on the other team as well. So, it loses a little bit of value there because Oracle Tusk is still a decent opening for Vici. Lich, all right, I don't mind this too much. Oh, they go back.
And they go to the Tiny. Wow. So Lich Tiny, which has been the combination we've seen a couple times recently from LGD. They've just been getting into picking up this Tiny in this tournament recently. And it's kind of worked out. That one game they played it where Chalice had ping problems. I'm not sure I can really count. So minus that, it's been played 3 other times. It's actually been played by LGD every single time this tournament, 4 times overall. It's 2-2, but one of those losses, like I said, a bit tough to handle because it was when Chalice was out of, his ping was pretty out of control.
So this opening, I think LGD were in a really tough position, right? Because they probably would have quite liked to take Grimstroke themselves. But then, like we talked about, Vici could just take Oracle as well, which makes Grimstroke a lot harder. Because of the Purge on the Inkswell and stuff. So they take the Lich for themselves, which I think is fine. Like, this Tusk is going to be wanting to do decent physical damage to you, especially, so the Frost Shield goes up in value. Especially, this heroes that pair up with Tusk tend to be the heroes that do physical damage, right? And then they pick the Tiny as well, which is something they're confident with. But now this allows Vici to take the Grimstroke themselves. And I actually think this Tusk Grimstroke opening is something we saw C-Deck do a lot as well at the start of the tournament. I really like this opening. I think it's really strong. And I think it does well against both the LGD heroes at the moment as well. The only reason I thought LGD might take the Grimstroke anyway is just because when the Tusk can't snowball when he's soulbinded, right? So I thought that went up in a little bit of value there. But I mean, the Lich is still okay. I don't mind it too much. And I'm really surprised this Beastmaster has been untouched so far. LGD, when they play this tiny hero, they tend to pick an offlane that doesn't need too much help in the laning stage. So we've seen Enigma from them recently. We've seen Beastmaster as well. I think is another one that works well with the in that kind of sense. So I think we're likely to see one of those here in the second stage of the draft. Especially this Enigma, it feels like their go-to hero, right? At the moment.
I wonder if they do go to this Enigma. We've seen it every now and then. It hasn't been banned just yet. Old Eleven's played it pretty well. I'd love to see him go to a Timbersaw instead, but that's just me. I want to see the first Timbersaw pick. But is the Enigma would you want it this early in the draft? With just the supports picked up?
I don't think it's awful. It's not great at the moment, because like you say, you don't see any of the cores, but they could just go for the back for the Ember again. I think as well as another potential.
Ooh. Gyro.
All right, I don't mind this. I mean, Gyro Lich is a really strong lane as well. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And if the Tiny ever rotates in, it's pretty much a kill every single time.
Gyro has been played in 6 games, has only won 1 of them. And that victory was LGD up against Team Aster. They went Grimstroke, Sniper. I believe that was a position 4 Sniper with Pango and Kunkka.
So now I'm looking at this as Vici, right? And I'm like, okay, so we have Tusk Grimstroke, so we have potential to do a really aggro tri-lane if we want to as well. We're going into Lich Tiny Gyrocopter, which isn't amazing, but in the early levels it's still okay, because tag team's always the winner. So I think they have to pick something. Okay, they go to Pango. I don't mind this. I think that's okay. I was going to say they need to pick if they want to do this aggressive lineup, they need to pick some strong carry in the laning stage, right? And it needs to be some melee hero as well. I was going to say to use Inkswell would be nice, but they go for the Pango instead. This is another hero I mentioned in the first phase of bans that I'd be really surprised if we didn't see it picked up at some point in this series, because I think this Pango here is in a really good position at the moment. We know it's going to be a position 3 now, because we already see the Tusk and the Grimstroke. I mean, Yang has played Tusk once this tournament, but I don't really see it happening. And now, you're playing against this Lich Gyro, and you always have this ability to be able to swashbuckle and escape, right? So even if the lane's going to be difficult for you, you can kind of manipulate the creep waves. You can be really mobile in the laning stage, so it's difficult to pick you off. So I don't mind this too much. And Pango's also a hero that does okay in 1v1s if needed to, if they want to go for this aggro tri-lane. So I think Vici's, this pick's pretty good for me. I like this a lot. And now LGD have to be thinking, do we want to pick a hero that stops Pango from having a free game in terms of using Rolling Thunder, right?
Yeah.
So I think something like the Beastmaster for them is still there, potentially. But they are running out of reserve time here.
Yeah, they're using a lot of reserve time. They've got the Gyrocopter Tiny Lich so far. Could they go back to the Ember for Somnus? He's played it 2 games, and I know they lost the last game, but he's played it pretty well in both games.
I think
been his bread and butter so far.
I think you go back for your offlaner here, though, to flex the Gyro
and
between.
Yeah, there's that Enigma.
Yeah. But again, it's another hero that stops the Pango just freely using Rolling Thunder, for the whole duration, right? But that's not the main reason. Yeah, they go back for the Enigma.
They really like this Enigma.
I think this is fine. And the question is now, what do Vici want to pick that they feel would be really strong? Because we've seen the different builds from Old 11 where if they don't pick anything that can cancel Black Hole through BKB, he'll just go Blink BKB, after Necro 1, right? Because he plays around that Black Hole really well. If not, you can go for more of this item, aura items. We've seen how we've done before in the past, Greaves, Pipe, Crimson, whatever. But he does like to go for a relatively early blink on Old 11.
Yeah, and
it doesn't matter whether it's
Necro 1.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether it's a good Black Hole game or not. He tends to go blink anyway still. But Vici, they should have expected LGD that they have this in their locker, right? We knew. There's no way Vici don't know. They play against each other so much. They probably scrim against each other a lot as well. So they know that LGD like this Enigma. And I'm surprised they don't. They might even be thinking about their pick after this one, right? Potentially, because they want to use all their reserve time to pick, then ban, then pick again straight away. Because LGD don't have a lot of reserve time themselves.
Yeah, they only have 8 seconds remaining, and now they'll go into this pick. They'll take the Morphling, which is usually a Eurus hero, but I guess we'll have to see.
I
I
like
would
this pick
assume
that
it
you're
is the
playing
one
against.
position.
You're playing against Gyrocopter as well, though, right? Like the Morphling just goes up in value. I think this is pretty good. So they just need some hero now that can play the tempo game early. I think something like Kunkka might be pretty good for Vici last pick. If it doesn't get banned out. Yeah, there you go. What else? Like Void Spirit's still in the pool. I don't know how much I like it, but it's okay.
It's definitely mobile and gives you a little bit of lockdown, some control. I think it's aggressive early where, both these teams can certainly take advantage of that early aggression. And now they go to the Ember here for Vici.
Okay. I think that's okay. Pretty good. Their draft looks relatively solid overall. I really hope Yang gets to play Tusk as well. I want to see it. I think it's 100% of the time, or like 99% of the time, it's going to be him on Pangolier, but we'll see.
No. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Because
the other good. Yeah,
go for
carry
it.
on.
No, go for it.
I was just going to say they have the flex value between Morphling and Ember now about who plays 1 and 2. So depending on what LGD pick here as their mid laner, they can pick and choose on Vici.
Ooh. Okay. And I don't dislike this Storm. Where Searing Chains, Snowball, Walrus Punch. Not terribly amazing to hold this Storm still.
This Storm Spirit Ember matchup is going to be really cool though. Because you can dodge Remnant with Sleight of Fist as well, so it'll be interesting to see how this mid matchup goes for both these two. So they're going to be laning Eurus on the Morphling, probably up against Enigma potentially. They might even do this aggro try though that we talked about before, with the Tusk Grimstroke Morphling, and then put the Pangolier in a 1v1 against the Enigma. But I don't know if you want to give Old 11 that kind of good 1v1 lane start, because he should dominate that lane, and we've seen him do it against other people in this raw 1v1. You're getting the constant denies coming through, you just get the level advantage, and you can secure CS easily because you have the 3 Eidolons and the hero. We've seen him get... Was it against Keen, I think, in the group stage? He got so many denies at the start of a game once.
I think he started with 23 or something like that. It was a lot. It was definitely up there real quick.
But it wasn't even just from denies on creeps. He was just securing so many just from using them well in the laning stage, the Eidolons.
Yeah.
But you can kind of see how both teams can win this game, right? Because it is a good Enigma game, right? There's nothing that stops BKB Black Hole at the moment. Unless they can save people with the snowball at the moment as well, which is nice. You can snowball through the black hole, which makes absolutely no logical sense. But yeah,
snowball works through time and space, man.
Easy peasy. I hate that Morphling set, by the way. I'm gonna put it out there. It's stuff.
He looks like the snow that kind of builds up on the streets.
Yeah.
That's what he looks like. The dirty mound of snow where you're like, when are they going to really get rid of this? It's June. A lot of pings coming out. And it's a smoke from LGD this time. Something that we've been seeing from both teams here and there is that smoke to try and get those wards down.
Yeah, I do like that. I talked about these position 4 heroes that FY plays well, though, right? Where he can roam around the map and make things happen. I forgot to give Tiny as an example. So we talked about the Shaker and the Tusk, but I think Tiny is his, like we talked about, it's his go-to at the moment, right? And there might be a little bit of a clash here. Both teams' smoke's going to pop at the same time. But, yeah. They scout each other out. I'm really interested to see... Sorry, say that again?
I said they started to take the outpost. Get that greedy, Jesus.
I'm really interested to see who goes towards this bot lane where the Enigma is, though.
30 seconds to battle.
And he might not even stay down here. We might see some lane switcheroos going on here. Your favourite?
Laning Shuffle, man. That's why it's got its own song, because it happens so much now.
Old 11 checking for a ward mid.
I will say, before this game gets really started, if anybody can make the Laning Shuffle song and animate it or something, or make it into a real song, maybe drop the beat a little bit, I'm down for that. Back to the game, though. one apiece in games here in this best of 5. And so far, it looks like Chalice and Xnova will stay up in the top lane, while Old 11 will be joined by FY. The thing is, like, you need a moment where you feel like Enigma is ready to just be by himself, potentially, because FY likes roaming with this hero. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to see him be up towards top, where you can get the toss into, you know, the Frost Shield and the Rocket Barrages with an Avalanche when they're all level 2. So
I really like this play from Vici, though. You should always go for a kill at level 1, I think, when you have a Tusk in the game on your side. Like, your support just stays for a second. If you can't get the kill, it doesn't matter. It's like, look how scared they are at the moment on LGD with these two heroes. So, like, DY can just rotate bot soon if he wants, but you might as well, you just look for the kill at the start of the game, because you might catch them off guard. And now that Grimshaw is going to show bot lane, Chalice can sleep a little bit easier at night.
But FY's here, and he's going to come around. Oh, he's got his Avalanche, though, no toss. So I don't really expect him to do much in this situation.
FY's like, guys, every time I play Tiny, we've had lane switcheroo, so I always get a free lane at the start of the game. This is unacceptable that I'm not getting a free lane at the moment to get my level 3 in like 3 minutes, while my cores will move across the map.
Yeah, he was able to get level 3. That's one of the things that lets him excel, is, ooh, he gets one courier. Embers gets really close. He was looking for a second.
What did Ember's courier bring out? Was it a salve or something? Look what FY's doing here, by the way. Like this play where he messes with the creep camp is just to stop DY from pulling the creep camp afterwards. Because like, now the creep camp's going to go back from DY, and so he has to re-aggro it again. But FY's here to try and rescue the creep wave a little bit.
But Avalanche comes in on Ori, laying down the Midnight Pulse. Nothing more. Only level 1, so no toss to work with.
Both the offlaners having a really good time, though, at the moment.
Yeah, 11 and 2 for the Pangolier, 9 and 6, and that's what we were talking about, is those denies from Old 11.
Worth talking about, by the way, this tag team swashbuckle. It doesn't work how you'd expect it to do. The tag team effect only procs on the first hit of the swashbuckle, not every single one, which would otherwise be absolutely ridiculous. Oh, Chalice.
And they're going to go. They've got the snowball as well as the tag team, but Chalice eating a lot of that damage. Swashbuckle comes through, and it's that early Frost Shield that really keeps Chalice pretty healthy in this lane in that engagement.
Yeah, and this is why they valued it so highly in the drafting stage, as their like pick against the Tusk. Oh, DI can't connect the pull, unfortunately.
Vortex on a Eurus. He's taking a lot of damage.
Toss back on Ori, bot lane.
More finish some of that strength. You get the toss as well as the Avalanche. Ori, Ink Swell now looking over the Tiny, but the damage from the Ions as well as the Enigma. First blood's there for FY. Oh dear.
That's really good for him, and he's going to get...
Oh, but Chalice, a good return kill, and the Swashbuckle should be a second. Ooh, I say that, though. Has a lot of charges in that stick, so he's able to survive.
I'm surprised they don't have an Orb of Venom on this top lane between them on Vici. I feel like it's super value here. Especially, you know, stacking up with the tag team slow as well would be pretty nice. I want to see whether PYW puts a second point of tag team or if he goes 1-1-1 on the Tusk.
I am a little shocked just because Tusk usually it's shards and then the tag team, but not the worst in the world, and yeah, it is the 1-1-1.
Oh, they're gonna get him as well.
Storm mid, taking a lot of damage. They've got the shard, snowball, and down goes Somnus, tossed back towards the tower, but it's really not going to matter for much. FY makes the rotation, nothing he can do there.
Yeah, great rotation by PYW. Nice inventory spawning top. Feels pretty good. Look top lane as well, like Yang's just 1v2ing and he doesn't care. Like he's still just running at them constantly.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Chalice struggling a little bit on this gyrocopter, but still CSing okay. Not as,
Or he's actually struggling bottom quite a bit.
I was about to say, I think Chalice is the one that's struggling the least out of the two carries here.
Well, actually, Ori, he's not in his normal mid lane. They've got Eurus mid on the Morphling, and Ori playing in that safe lane.
Yeah, I was a little bit unsure about this. I mean, obviously Morphling can go mid as well. It's a decent matchup against Storm, but I did think they would play the Ember there. But I guess they feel like the Ember can. Oh, mid lane. Jesus, Eurus. Oh, that's to pop his stick charges.
Summonus is doing a lot of damage, but it was that help from the Tusk that was able to get them this kill, and it might be again.
Mid.
Snowball Shards, though, blocks him out. They've got the Avalanche. It slows up PYW as well as Eurus. However, Somnus not looking to re-engage on that. Maybe if he was level 6, but not there. And he's a half level behind Eurus. Maybe even a little bit more.
He has a wave coming in, though. Like, there's 2 range cubes, right? So he's fine.
Bottom, they do get DY. Old 11, though. Ori with the Flame Guard burns him out, so Old 11 falls for the Grimstroke. Not exactly the trade you want to be giving up. He is going into the Necro Book, and hopefully you'll have that soon, but that is a big setback.
Yeah, that's a sad death because it delays his first Necro Book usage, right? And which he would have really liked to try and put some pressure on the tower with the catapult.
Mid again, Eurus. Hit with that Electric Vortex. FY doesn't have toss or anything to work with onto this Morphling. They do bring X-Nova towards the mid lane, but it won't turn into
That's a difficult kill to get in this mid lane. Like, you have to zip in on Somnus and get the pull off and then hope that the Tiny can get in range to follow up toss. But, yeah, I mean, with how slow the zip is at level 1 on the Storm, it's definitely not an easy kill.
Inkswell doesn't pop on anybody. But here comes FY again. They're trying to find some of these supports. They do still have Yang here. Rocket Barrage, though, ripping through DY. DY gets a Stroke of Fate off. X-Nova comes in. They've disarmed this Tiny, but they lose the Grimstroke and nothing more.
Broom handle for the Storm. Nice. I'm sure that he's loving seeing that. Nice ward by FY here as well. And that's the thing about these other position forwards. The other thing about these position forwards to rotate around. Oh, hang on. PYW top
Electric
lane.
Vortex. They've got the Snowball all the way to the creep. But the Sinister Gaze is in. Rocket Barrage is also on top of him. Somnus gets the kill on a PYW, making it 4-3 for LGD.
Yeah, Somnus is going to have to TP back to base though. Like, in the meantime, Eurus is just free farming this middle lane. Having a great bit of space here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I think when Yang gets level 6 on this Pangolier, they're going to try and be a lot more active up here on Vici, but hang on.
They're trying to go with the Swashbuckle as well as the Inkswell, but now the turnaround once again. Avalanche toss coming through, and Snowball gets the save for a moment. Tag team used. Jesus! FY taking a lot of damage. That causes Yang to go down. They'll look over at Chalice. Body blocks from X-Nova. With the Rocket Barrage, Stroke of Fate slows him up. PYW, Inkswell, and the Sinister Gaze. Great job by X-Nova. That'll keep the Gyro alive, and I don't think they get the kill on this Lich either. Unless he really does just run it down, which, okay.
PYW might die for this though.
Yeah, they've got the Avalanche. They'll trade. I'm not really certain X-Nova needed to die there, though.
That's so, I mean, but it's worth it if FY gets the kill, right? So, in the meantime, by the way, in bot lane, Old 11 got a solo kill on the Ember by using Black Hole and then using the Necro Book to just rip through him really quickly, which I think is like probably bigger than any of the kills that happened up in the top lane there. Because look at the level difference between the two of them at the moment. Like this Enigma's a whole level ahead of him now, and with this Necro Book back up again, especially at the 10-minute catapult wave, we're going to see Old 11 really ramp up the pressure and possibly see some support rotations towards the bot lane. And Chalice and X-Nova are actually already coming. They want to get another kill on this this Ember here.
He's got Malefice. He tried to use it. Homing missile's coming through. Midnight Pulse takes away the trees. He's got the Remnant. So if he goes over, they're still going to hit this homing missile. And there's the Sinister Gaze. He's got another Remnant to go to, so they won't get the kill. But they do force him away, and that should open up the tier 1 tower.
Yang's rolling Thundering top as well. FY with the dancing shoes on though. Yeah, and this is a great rotation by LGD though, because they get this top bot tier 1 for free. Sorry, like the problem for them is that Morph's still free farming in the middle lane. But the fact they get an objective without Vici being able to do the same top is a big win for them.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Top lane again, Inkswell. Venom's Embrace on the Tiny now. One shot from dead. Stroke of Fate comes in. Yang gets the kill. Takes out FY. But that being said, the both outposts, I believe, go. Yeah, both outposts go to the Dire.
Big win for LGD
Which is
again.
always big.
I'd like so much more.
I just realised we didn't get a Timber pick. I'm really disappointed.
Still no Timber pick. 2 games to go.
Come on, guys.
A lot of time.
Keen Optic. Nice sign for the Storm if he wants it, or even for the Tiny as well is probably the best one.
Never refuse gold given.
Oh, okay, he's going to take it on Enigma actually, just pass the brooch over to Gyro, which is really good as well. Still only level 6 on the Gyro, by the way. About to hit 7, to be fair.
Inkswell again, that pops on FY. Rolling Thunder comes in. FY taking a lot of damage, but he still has the Frost Shield, finally. Or he makes a rotation and Remnants in, but this is a lot of commitment so far for just FY. Like, really just a lot of commitment.
Yeah. Tough one.
11, what does he have now? Arcane Boots. So let's see. Is it Guardian Greaves into the Blink BKB? Is he going to go that route? Or is it just Arcane Boots, Blink BKB?
Good question. I'm glad he's picked up a wand. I think every hero should be buying wand. But does he go for BKB first before the blink? I think he's going to go blink BKB here, right? But I don't know what order he's going to do it in.
Snowball still looking for Somnus. Hero's coming over. Ball lightning getting some distance. Shards are down. Avalanche toss a lot of damage onto PYW. X Nova is here. He's not level 6 to throw a Chain Frost or anything, so FY just kind of fizzles out and dies. Just, again,
Radiant structures
over aggression.
Yang wants this in the bot lane.
That maybe pulls him out of position. Rolling Thunder now on to Old 11. Or at least looking for Old 11. It didn't actually hit him or anything. Meanwhile, Malefice and Swashbuckle away from Yang.
Dire's middle
And that's
tower
it.
is under
Just
attack.
a
In
bit of a
meantime,
back
again-
and forth.
Mid lane. You're free farming away, starting to push the tower in now. Down to about half HP.
He's sitting top of the net worth. So a lot of space for him.
I think Chalice is struggling a bit on this Gyrocopter again because of the lane he had though, right? Like, it's the same as last game where he's had this difficult laning stage. And he's really feeling it. Going for that BKB first time. And he's going Blink first on Enigma. I think it's okay. I think it's good. If he can catch them off guard with a black hole from the Blink, right, then could do massive work. But he does have things to cancel it. You know, there's the Grimstroke with the silence, especially. I think it's the big one. You know, Tusk can stun him with the snowball.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Everyone has a way except Pango, really.
Is under attack.
Rolling Thunder, what there?
Rolling Thunder again, but... Okay.
Okay. It's so difficult for Yang to push this out there, right? Because he knows that the whole of LGD are down here, and they're going to get the tower anyway.
Has fallen.
So LGD doing a really good job of just controlling this bottom half of the map at the moment. And this is 2 towers down that have gone pretty much uncontested by Vici down here. Top jungle, though, maybe.
Radiant's bottom
Yeah, they've
tower
got
has
Somnus with the
fallen.
Searing Chains, but Old 11 makes the rotation after taking that tier 2 bottom. These heroes try to go in onto the Storm Spirit. They can't find them. If they had pushed even further, they might have found themselves into a lot of trouble with the Black Hole.
Yeah. Eurus does take mid tier 1, though, by the way. So Vici do get something back.
Avalanche. Rocket Barrage. Call down. Chain Frost. X Nova with the Sinister Gaze. Doing a lot of damage, but the Swashbuckle brings X Nova to about half. They still can't get the kill on anybody here on the Vici side. LGD lose 2, make it a 3rd. X Nova challenge
silence.
as well as FYR gone. The silence with the Phantom's Embrace makes it a 4th. Somnus down. Vici, they come away like bandits on that one with a couple heroes getting really low in that situation. They would have loved to have a blink black hole right there because that could have changed the landscape of that fight.
There's 3 items they really need on LGD to take fights at the moment, and it's the blink on Tiny, the blink on Enigma, and they also really need the BKB on Gyro. Because at the moment, his effective output in the fights is just using spells, but like Eurus doesn't really care because he can just attribute shift through it anyway. Like they don't have the potential to pick people off without the blinks on the 2, like on the 3 and the 4. And FY might be in trouble top again, or he missed the chains, unfortunately. Never mind. Yeah, and this Enigma, I think when the blink comes online, it's going to be massive pressure on LGD to make plays.
Black hole on Just Yang. He'll take it though.
Middle tower
I think that's fine. That kills the kill, right? They get the courier as well. So
has been killed.
decent. There's the blink
top.
Enigma now as well.
And they look for DY. They'll get the kill. FY loses his life, so a 1-for-1 trade. Ori now sitting dominating as he's 5-2.
It feels like this is the most rough time we've seen of FY playing this Tiny. Like in terms of what he's able to get, because he feels like he usually gets a decent blink timing, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is possibly the slowest we've seen yet from him. Like, I'm not saying he should have a faster blink by now, not at all, but it just means this game is going to be, you know, a lot less impactful than it has been in others.
The thing is, that usually stems from lane shuffles.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Again, a Rolling Thunder coming through, but here's the rotation from Old 11 as well as FY. Ori, Eurus, as well as Yang, all up here. Avalanche toss, call down, a lot of damage being done. We've got the snowball pulls in everybody, and now they're going for a ride onto this gyrocopter. They've got themselves the walrus punch. They'll get the kill on a chalice now. Coming through is Somnus, but can he get anything from this? Good Soulbind. Soulbind
big Ink Swell
up to the Lich, and it's a 3-man Ink Swell shield crash on top. Ori does die to FY. So they do get the kill on the Ember. Old 11 taking a lot of damage. The adaptive strike is in. Eurus now focuses his attention over to Somnus, but Old 11 dies to PYW. They get the kill on the DY, the swashbuckle forward, as well as the disarm. He could try and go with the ball lightning over to try and get a kill on a PYW, but FY is here and he's already finished him off. They've got the swashbuckle once again. Somnus sitting low, toss back. That keeps Somnus alive. And he gets a courier for his trouble, but here comes Eurus to finish him off with the adaptive strike.
They really want FY, but he's so fast with these trample boots, I don't think they catch him.
Swashbuckle, adaptive strike, stuns him up,
max
Rolling
strength more.
Thunder. And Avalanche comes in. Oh, wow. FY with the dancing shoes once again. Swashbuckle, X-Nova, Frost Shield, still slow. Adaptive strike hits, though, and they finally get the kill onto the Tiny.
I feel really bad for FY that he managed to do everything pretty much perfectly there, but he still ends up dying. That's really sad. Some really big things that fight, by the way. They don't have Black Hole on LGD, right? So the fight's instantly difficult straight away because they don't have that big, you know, team fight potential. DY just runs in with 3 points in Inkswell and stuns up 3 heroes. Otherwise, the fight would have been an absolute disaster for Vici. So DY turns that around massively there. And then somehow, I don't know if you saw, maybe dodged the waveform on Storm Spirit by like hiding in the trees and then running back down again. That was so sick by him.
Oh, Jesus, the E-Blade. Woo!
Dire's top tower is
I
under
think if he'd have been a little bit more
Hundo
patient
him.
there and waited to turn into the storm on Eurus, he probably would have got the kill, but you know, Morph was still on 15-second cooldown or still. So it's difficult to say. Because then you have the pull, right? You can steal, so...
Dire's top tower.
Chalice
is under
again.
Oh, boy. Snowball, Walrus Punch. Silence with the Phantom's Embrace. They get the kill.
Dire's top tower.
And
has
it
fallen.
does very much feel like for last game for LGD, though, in the sense that they have these 3 cores that all need farm. So, like... Old 11 on this Enigma, he's like the win condition hero almost. So you understand, like, if he gets BKB Blink and he black holes, like we said, they don't really have a play.
Dire are scanning.
But it means that the Storm and the Gyro have less space on the map to take the safe farm. So that now they have 3 cores that all need farm. And Vici doing the same thing where they just run at them over and over again and punish that little bit of greed. Like this Yang on this Pangolier, if you compare the offlanes, he's taken part in 13 kills. Old 11's taken part in 6. And the ones that Old 11 did take part in, some of them were some solo kills as well, right? Like down in that bot lane on the Ember.
And on the Pangolier. Oh no,
Yeah.
never mind. He had a +1 with him.
Oh yeah. So, like, he's just being a lot more like greedy overall on the, which is how you have to play on Enigma though, right? It's a draft thing, but it just means Chalice suffers really hard because of it all, and he's going to get first fight in BKB, but it's going to be like so late into the game.
Jesus. X-Nova blown up.
This is going to be
Blink, but the Rolling
Old
Thunder. Old 11.
he has no BKB. Okay.
Now you see what you are up against.
We'll leave that one. And they ping out the Roach Pit. They have Tusk Morph. Let's see how long it takes them to do this.
Old 11's working on that BKB. It's going to be a while till it feels like maybe he can jump in there and slap down a good black hole. Even then, I think Vici have done a good job of spreading themselves out.
But again, it's the same as the 2 games before. Whoever feels like they have the tempo in the early stages of the game, like from the laning stage, just feels so far ahead. And Chalice is going to run into them again.
Oh, Jesus. The E-Blade, the Snowball, the Walrus Punch all in on the Chalice. The Avalanche on a 3. He stays alive for a little bit longer, but shards are there. Oh my God. FY. Had he kept him alive, that would have been wild.
Oh no, X-Nova!
Jesus, he's just like, I can't play Dota. I'm not allowed to play Dota. I walk even in my own base. E-Blade dead. Adaptive Strike comes down.
Oh, and they pick up a bounty rune from the shovel. They're actually,
GG!
oh my God!
Whoa!
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Whoa!
Vici Gaming. Victory.
Whoa! I don't think I've seen LGD ever call a GG like that before. Like in any games that I've cast, at least.
I have never seen that
Whoa.
from LGD personally.
Like, we
Whoa.
talked about how far Vici were in front, right? But... that's a spicy meatball, that one. The problem is, and I talked about how LGD have this like more greedy lineup, right? When you play against these top teams, and you give them an inch from the